Hi. It's been a while. So you may be wondering why you haven't heard from me lately. Nothing bad, just life. Like this construction. And the reason I'm pointing over here is one of the reasons I haven't made a video is because on the other side of that wall is where I sit, where I would make the video, and the carpenters in this room would hear everything I say, and I don't want them to hear everything I say. Right now it's Sunday, so there's no carpenters. The other reason is I've been dealing with this coughing, scratchy throat thing, and it is two things. It's allergies, and it turns out I'm allergic to the number one crop on my property, tumbleweeds. And I'm going through immunotherapy or whatever it's called, allergy shots for that. And the other thing is I believe I have what's called silent reflux. I'll spare you all the details, but it's a very subtle form of indigestion where just a little bit of irritation comes up in your throat, usually at night while you're sleeping, and it just irritates your voice box. And it is indigestion, but it's not like the heartburn and all that stuff. It's just like irritated throat all night. So I'm trying different things for that. I sit up to sleep and da-da-da. And then the other thing is, the third thing, this is why I can't do a live video, because I have to stop to cough. But my third main reason is that I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to say, because where I left it last time, I was talking about the forgetful squirrels and how in my search for trying to be a better fine artist, coming from a background of graphic design, I'm finding that I don't like my own art. And part of it is the negative self-talk, and that a lot of the negative self-talk is just like how many of the oak trees in the world were planted by forgetful squirrels. I have allowed certain information, messages, and ideas to come and sit in my, my self-talk, in my brain, or wherever self-talk happens, and they take root and become big and grow into trees, oak trees. And I am trying, and then if you want to look back through my old videos, you could, but I can distill it by saying I actually picture a group of critics and supporters. Not all critics are mean, but I think of these sort of a group of people, a little like that movie Inside Out, but I thought of mine first. Sitting at a conference table, seeing my life through my eyes, like on a big screen, and they're like, "Oh, that was a bad idea," or "Look at how she did that, and that was really clever." And I'm trying to look at each of those committee members, the head committee, and I think it's time to fire some of them, but some of them can stay. And so that's where I left it last time. And so I'm sorry. I know I'm not looking at the video. I'm looking out what is going to be my future bedroom window, and I'm so excited about the view. I will insert it here, and you can see how beautiful the view is. So that's why while I'm talking, I'm looking out at these pine trees. It's amazing. So I'm a very visual person, and I need to think of things in terms of, I need to have a visual metaphor. And I wave my hands around a lot. And so I'm leaving this space open because I think maybe I will be inserting images here like the way newscasters do. We'll see if that goes. So I wrote this, I dictated it to Siri while I was walking the dogs this morning. And it says, and also, what I was going to say is I'm a visual person, so I think of these as trees, but they're also like potholes, a little damage to the road, and then as people drive over it, the hole gets bigger and worse, and it becomes a big hole in the road that can hurt your car. your vehicle as you drive over it. And what I've realized that I've been doing is, and I remember when I was younger and I lived up in the mountains, and you knew where all the potholes were, and you knew to swerve ahead of time. You knew that this is where you needed to slow down, or you had to get over to this side. And it makes you a better driver, almost sort of, streetwise in a sense, because you know how to avoid the damage. But I sure would like to have more of a smooth drive. And I find that what I'm doing is I'm avoiding certain situations because they have other messages for me, the potholes, oak trees, whatever. But, or people, they're like, I'm like, I can't do that because of blah, blah, blah. And then it's all the pothole that I'm avoiding. And so by inspecting these things, kicking people off the committee, cutting down the tree, filling the pothole, whatever the visual is, that's the personal work that I'm doing as an artist right now. My relationships are all doing fine. My health is much better. I had some health things happening besides the voice, but anyway, I switched insurance companies. Everything's good. But the point is, I feel like I need to do some super heavy, hard thinking, analysis, and see if I can fill in these potholes and find a way to move to where I want to be, which is I want to do art that is fun while I do it. I want to enjoy the product, which that's where I am now. I don't really like my own work. And then I would like to, I don't want celebrity fame or riches, but I'd like to be able to share my work and have other people enjoy it too. So I think sometimes people do enjoy my work, but they hear me doing this thing that I'm doing right now. It sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I feel like I'm working through. I'm untangling a knot so that I can move forward. I'm ironing a wrinkle. I'm filling a pothole. Whatever it is, I'm doing this sort of personal work and blah blah blah. Anyway, I wrote this while I was walking today, and I will read it to you. Thinking hard about hard things. Damage done in my childhood that has grown into those trees I talked about in my other video, or maybe a little hole in my surface, a little hole in the surface of my psyche, which Siri spelled psych. A little hole in the surface of my psyche that has grown to become a pothole that I've learned to avoid. If I identify them, fill them in, so I can just drive on my road without worrying about it. So that's funny when you dictate to Siri, it doesn't really come out the way you meant. So I don't really know why I'm making this video like this, but so I just wanted to tell you what my plans are, and also I just wanted you to see how goofy I am when I talk to a camera, because I'm very self-conscious about the way I look and my voice and clearing. So I just wanted to catch you up on where I am right now, and my goal is next goal is to, if you have watched my previous videos, and you're welcome to, or I can summarize right now and you can skip it. I actually made little like paper puppets to represent those people at the table in my head. There's, the mean coach, and then there's the encouraging educator, and so on. And I distilled it down to, I think, 5 characters. And I realized that one of them that was missing is the nice mom. That's a whole other story. We could get into it or not. And so I realized, and I feel a little sad about this, the voice that I just don't have in my head is the one that says, good work, nice job. I can see you worked really hard on that. I really like your work. That color looks really good. I don't have that just basic, kind, supportive, and I'll support you doing anything type of voice. So I don't want to get too lovey-dovey, but I do need to work on counteracting the negative self-talk with a little bit of positive self-talk. You're doing fine. It's okay to mess up. You obviously do know what you're doing. So I need to think about what are the things that I really want to hear. And that's one of them. I want my head to tell me while I'm working, you obviously do know how to do art. You are not an amateur. So that's one of the things I need to hear. So I'm working on that. So anyway, I have these characters and I have a finished sketchbook, and I thought maybe what I would do is do sort of a third person perspective as they look through my sketchbook and see if I can figure out what they're saying so I can nip it in the bud and try to catch, like, oh, you obviously didn't blah, 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 and see which part of me is saying that, and if I can figure out where that came from. You know, I have things like, I have friends who are artists, and somebody might say something offhand like, how come you never use blue? And then I'll be like, well, I didn't feel like using blue. But then that goes in, and then it starts to echo, and then it gets bigger, and then I start thinking, I should be using blue. Why am I not using blue? This is awful. I'm such a terrible artist. And they must think I'm awful, and then blah, blah, blah. And so that's what I'd like. I want to figure out, like, where are these little thoughts coming from? Can I root them out and figure out where they started, and are they valid? So the next video won't be so much talking. Hopefully it'll be a little more silly because I'm going to use the characters. I'm not going to do voices because I'm not like that. And that's it. So also I'm using my new, I'm holding it like the kids do. I'm using my new super long, I think it's 8 feet or 6 feet long, lightning plug-in iPhone microphone. That's all it is. It's just this, the cable, and then it plugs in. And then if you want to review your video, you pull the headphone out. Otherwise, I mean, you pull the microphone out. Otherwise, it thinks it's a headphone. And then in my case, it froze the phone. But anyway, I think it's a good investment. So thanks for watching or listening. I hope this held some meaning for you. Maybe you're on a similar path of introspection and self-analysis. I encourage you to continue those thoughts, because there are a lot of people out there that are living completely blind to what's happening in their lives and why things aren't working the way they want them to work. And I hope that through this kind of work we can find success. Thanks for watching. Bye.